Okay guys, today we will start something interesting. So, I like this character a lot. I kind of like this concept, if we will. This is of course EarthWorm Jim plus the Spawn. So it's kind of a mix between those characters, and I like it so much that I want to do it properly. So, my plan is to start doing it now and maybe do it in a couple of streams. We will see how it will go. But the idea is that this will be basically something like a course, but without too much explanation of what I'm doing. I'm just gonna do it live, and I'm gonna talk about everything, like the war, the politics, and all the things that are bothering everybody right now. But I'll be doing also this thing. So, first I want to talk about my newest course. I haven't started yet. So let's press home because it's running away from me. So for the newest course, I was thinking, what's the most difficult thing and what's the most important thing that people should know in Blender, especially as a beginner? Because I'm planning a beginner course for Blender 5. So the most important thing turns out to be the navigation in the 3D viewport. So rotation, pan, zoom, those things are the most important, and if you are struggling with them, and you will struggle in the beginning, of course, this is a new software, for example, you're a beginner, imagine, you're a beginner, you will definitely struggle in the beginning. So these are the things that need practice to master, and only practice will help you master those. So, yeah. My course, of course, will be for a whole game character, although for beginners, it will be a little bit of a challenge, for me at least. For the beginners, not so much, because the character is relatively easy, and also I'm gonna make sure I explain everything as much as possible and as many times as necessary. Because, you see, when you are making a beginner course, you have to explain every step. Not like I'm doing right now, I'm just brushing through it like fast and furious and everything. No. Every step of the way, you have to hold the hand of the young people that want to learn this amazing software, although it may be irrelevant or unrelevant, I'm not sure, yeah. In just a couple of maybe months or years, nobody knows. But the idea is that, yeah, if you feel like your passion is making 3D characters, for example, or making 3D anything, then yeah, this will be nice, but don't expect to find a job. Sorry to say that, but it's just the reality right now is difficult. It's difficult, except I will tell you the exception. So the only way you can find a job right now is to be young and pretty good artist who doesn't want too much of a big salary. That's it. If you are asking for not a huge salary, then maybe, and you are good, relatively good, then maybe some companies will prefer you instead of me, for example, or some other professional artists who doesn't have a job. These professional artists who have like 20 years, or like me, like 15 years into the game industry, we have one thing in common. We don't work for low amount of money, because we value, we kind of think that what we offer, experience, is worth it, right? But young artists don't care about that. They don't have experience, and they're willing to work for less money. And some companies, especially in this day and age, where the economics are going down a little bit, or a lot, yeah, many people are scaring us that it's going down, everything is going down, it's the end of the world as we know it, stuff like this. We'll see. It's we don't have to worry about that, because if it happens, it will happen. If it doesn't, so yeah, it's fine. But the idea is that in this day and age, much more companies will prefer people with relatively good skill but very low salary, instead of people with super good skill and pretty good salary. So yeah, That's the strength of young people. People who are now entering the industry. But of course, skill needs to be there. You cannot go skillless, you know. You have to have the skill at least to a certain point. Of course, nobody is expecting you as an artist with like 2 or 3 years of working in Blender or any software to be as good as the guy who was working 20 years. But there are cases that people are actually making that true. And I will tell you why. Because when you are in the industry especially, for example, I've become 3D artist 2010, and I've been working with ZBrush, with 3D Max and everything. So I was doing well, and I was developing myself because I was feeling that my anatomy, for example, was not on a huge level, and I wanted to improve. So I was constantly working on myself, even while I was in Gameloft. I was working in Gameloft, which is a mobile game company. So the requirements are not that huge there. At least they were not that huge back in the days. But I still wanted to be on the level of the people who are working, for example, in Naughty Dog, which never happened actually. Because in Naughty Dog, the character artists are just beasts. I remember one of the best Bulgarian 3D artists, he made the test for Naughty Dog, and I don't think they called him. Although his test was, in my view, was just super nice. But I've seen other tests of people from around the world in Naughty Dog that have made it there, and they are even better. So, yeah. The level in Gameloft was low, but I still wanted to be better and better. Some people don't think like that. Some people, they are in the industry, they are working, and they don't care about that, the skill or anything too much. They just want to be left alone, to work their craft, and it's enough for them. So those people may have 10 years of experience in the industry, or 12 years or 20 years, but they will not be as good as some people who are recently started, but they have a lot of passion, and they constantly want to be better and better, and they know, and they absolutely know that we learn all our lives. We never are good enough. So yeah, I mean, it's possible that some young guys will be better than me even, but asking for less amount of money, and who will have the upper hand? They, of course, not me, or somebody like me. No. So there is always hope. That's what I'm saying. The problem is that, let's say 5 years ago, when the COVID was like roaming, and companies were searching for talents, very much, a lot. Then, even if you are not that good, you may go into the industry. It was easy, very easy entrance into the industry. Now, it's the opposite. You have to be extremely good in order to go into the industry, in order to get a job in the industry. But of course, as I said, if this is your passion, if you kind of feel like you like it a lot and you like doing it, you can spend the time necessary to become good enough. Only if you are really passionate about it. If you're passionate about the money that you will make, then it will not happen at all these days. Because the money that you will eventually make will not be a good enough push for you to continue working on your skills. Because those money are imaginary in the beginning. Okay, we made the head of this character. It's looking relatively fine. EarthWorm Spawn creature. Spoon or spawn, I'm not sure. It's something like this. Huh. Червяк Jim. Червяк. Nico, you look so similar to Electro Boom. Yeah, I know. I know we are pretty much a twins. If you work in Houdini, do I have some advantages? I don't know. By the way, these days, I see that people are searching for animators, but good quality-wise animators that know engines. For example, a very good, experienced, or at least with a very good portfolio animator with Unreal Engine 5 knowledge is gonna be just in a huge amount of search. I mean, people are searching for this type of people. And yeah, I'm not an animator. I don't know how to work even remotely in Unreal Engine. So I am dead in the waters, right? Yeah. Thankfully, my courses are selling pretty much well. I mean, the sales are not going down too much. So I'm doing well for now. I'm not wealthy in any case, but I'm not also super poor. I'm not living in day-to-day basis. I have some savings, although my savings are not enough to buy a decent apartment in Bulgaria, which is sad. You would assume that, yeah, Nico was working 15 years in the industry with a decent salary, which is true. It was decent for back in the days. And now he's selling courses. He has more than 30,000 students in Udemy, which sounds a lot. And his courses are always in the top selling list in ArtStation, which is true. But still, he can't save for one apartment in Bulgaria. It's not France. It's not like United States or Switzerland or whatever. It's Bulgaria, come on. But still, yeah, the prices are just ridiculous, completely ridiculous. When I was younger, of course, nothing was like that. Even people working in the government, like my father was a military guy. He was able to buy an apartment without too much of worries, no problem. It was easy peasy. But nowadays, no, not anymore. Now I will do a little bit of a body, just to get started. I want to finish the head a little bit more, which means I need to make the teeth probably separate. I don't know, we'll see if separate teeth will be nice. But I want to also make eyes a little bit separate, so I can separate the eyelids from the eyes. We'll see. Could also work commission. Of course. Are you a freelancer? No, I'm not a freelancer. I mean, yes, I'm a freelancer. When somebody wants me to do something, a freelance, I usually do it if I feel like it. I mean, if I like the job, if there is a nice concept, even sometimes I will have to confess that I have worked with AI-made concepts. Because nowadays, example, somebody watches my channel and he is making a game. And he's saying, okay, I want Nico to make a character for my game. And he doesn't have too much 2D artist or something, but he has a vision of what this character could look like. So he's prompting the character in AI. He's making the AI concept. He's happy with this concept. He's giving it to me. And I say, okay, this particular concept that you have made, it will not be possible to be made entirely the same in 3D because this is AI. AI usually puts unnecessary detail that's pretty difficult to make in 3D. Okay. And he said, okay, I want you to make it so you have a little bit of more artistic freedom. And I say, all right, let's try. And I'm making him a 3D sketch. For like 2 or 3 hours, I'm making something to see how it will work in 3D. Because, yeah, I have experience and I can basically understand when I see a concept if it will look good in 3D or not. But to be sure, I have to try it. So I tell him this. Okay, I will not take any money, but I want to work on it a little bit, and I will show you something. If you are happy with where the things are going, then we can talk about what to do next. And yeah, sometimes people are happy, sometimes are not that much. Sometimes I'm not happy with the result, and I'm saying, I'm sorry, but this concept is, for me, it's not very nice to do. I don't like it too much. And I don't do it. And also people these days, they're expecting characters to be made for no money, almost no money at all, which is possible with the help of 3D AI, for example. But in some cases, the 3D AI is not working quite well. The 3D AI can do very nice stuff sometimes. Sometimes it's absolute shit, and you don't know what will happen and when. So that's a little bit of a problem. So if somebody expects me to do a full character with open mouth, with separate teeth, and low poly and texture for, let's say, $300, which 5 years ago I will be laughing. Now I am willing to do it, but helping it with AI to speed up the process. So this $300 will be kind of enough. Because, for example, I like to get, let's say, $50 an hour, which is a lot, I know. But if I can, why not? $50 an hour. Nowadays it's not that much. Back in the day it was a lot. Nowadays, for some countries where people are getting this amount of money or less in a month, I guess I sound a little bit fake, you know, because yeah, this guy is talking about $50 an hour, and my father, for example, is getting $20 a month. This is in Pakistan. You can find some places that people are getting a super low amount of money. For example, $300 a month in some areas is a very good salary. You can support your whole family with it without any issue. Yeah, but in my country it's not like that. Although we are one of the poorest countries in the European Union, Bulgaria, it's not quite like that yet. Or anymore. I mean, back in the days, yeah. In the 90s, $300 a month was a huge salary here. It was just amazing. I didn't know anybody who was getting this kind of money. $300 a month. It was just impossible. People were getting like $100, $150 a month, and it was cool in the 90s. Nowadays, if you are living in the big city, you are getting less than $1,000 a month, you cannot do it, because even one small apartment rent is probably $400 and a month, so it's hard. Let's see. Okay, this thing, and then we're going down. Here we cannot understand what's happening exactly, but I'm basing this on my anatomy knowledge, so hopefully it will be fine. Maybe the body should be a little bit bigger. I usually do it the opposite way. I usually do the head smaller, but now the body could be bigger. I'm guessing, we'll see. When we see the whole thing, we will see. Can you please repeat that company name? Naughty Dog or something? It's Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog. They made the Uncharted series. So yeah, you probably should know them. Been artist 50 years, made enough to support myself with art 1 year. Exactly. Yeah. Saludos desde Argentina. Buen gran trabajo. Sigo, sí me encanta tu trabajo. So something about work, uh, big work or something. I don't understand quite well. I mean, I know a little bit of Spanish, but so little that I understand trabajo, which is work, and I understand saludos, of course, and the rest I cannot understand quite well. If you're good enough to make dollars with art, can already make more dollars in other way, most likely. So to make more, yeah. Can you please repeat that company? Okay, much practice, much more perfect. Yes. Now the market demands more things. Yeah. Самый крутой червяк. Nico, хорошего тебя стрима. Спасибо. So the guy is saying that the stream is good, although I'm speaking mostly about other things, not about the character that I'm doing too much. Тут много русскоговорящих. Да. Many people here are Russian speaking Russian, which is interesting. A lot of people from Russia are watching me actually. Maybe buy real small house on outskirts of Bulgaria, man. Fix up. Yeah, that's possible, of course, on outskirts. It's easy, but I live in the city. I live in the capital. My daughter is studying in the capital, and she is still young. And my wife is working in the capital. I cannot move. I mean, it's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be definitely really hard. And also I have to rely mostly on car. Now I'm not relying on my car. I'm mostly walking. I try to walk more. I try, if I have to go somewhere in the capital, I try to go with the public transport and with walking. Not because of the gas prices, but because I like to move more. It's moving is making you more agile, more fit, and more willing to work and move also more. Life nowadays is expensive even for rich people. No, for rich people it's not expensive. Of course, if you have like some income more than $200,000 a year, for example, with this income you probably will not care that much about gas prices. You will not care about food prices. But if your income is less than, let's say, $10,000 a year, then this is a complete different story. So rich people, I consider rich somebody whose income is more than $200,000 a year. I consider them relatively rich, maybe middle class, but a little bit above. And if they have $1 million income a year, so even better, rich. So imagine somebody with $1 million income a year to care about gas prices that much, to care about food prices. No, they will not. They don't care. For them, it's just pocket money. It's nothing. So all the crisis after the COVID crisis, now this crisis, next crisis that is coming, it will affect mostly the poor. The rich and the mega rich people even will benefit from it. They will get more money. And because they have assets, they have oil, they are owning oil companies, some of them they buy oil like a commodity. They buy it from the stocks of oil. So they have a lot of like commodities. They have some investment in metal, investment in oil, investment in gold, or some like other things, bonds or whatever. So yeah, I will show you my new cat, by the way, because it's getting too serious with this kind of things. Okay, come here. She's now sleepy a little bit. In this time of the day, she's sleeping. She's like 6 months old. Very, very peaceful cat. Amazing. Just one of the most peaceful animals that I have ever seen. Super nice. Very beautiful. And now she is obviously sleepy, so I will leave her be. Yeah. Yeah, this is the cat, yeah. Потому что Ника наш батя по скульпту. Да, батя. Huh. I also worked with a client who gave me an AI 2D concept. That's common these days. Yeah, that's pretty common these days. So why don't they actually do the 3D with the AI? Because the 3D AI is still not on the point. And also, most of the time, if you want to do a good job with the 3D AI, you have to work inside Blender and fix some things and combine some things and assemble. So it's not that easy as the 2D AI. And it probably will not be for a certain amount of time very easy to work with the 3D AI as a normal person. That's where we come in. That's why we are 3D artists and we probably will prevail the AI. Yeah, our job is a little bit more niche, and the AI is like Trello or Huion 3D. They're doing fine jobs sometimes. Sometimes they are not. So it's you cannot tell what's happening. I was getting $100 as a month for my first billing job, and now I'm jobless commerce student. Yeah. You get done in an hour what many would in much longer. Plus, it's not about the time you take, so charging your rates fairly is not something you should have to justify. Time could not... yeah, but still, when I'm working for a company, for example, I was working last year for some company. They were charging... I was charging them by a project. I usually charge by a project, not by an hour. Because this is better for me. As you said, I'm pretty fast when I'm working, and if I charge by an hour, it's not gonna be good for me. But if I charge by a finished work, then I'm getting the best of it. So freelance is scarce these days, definitely. Sometimes you can find here and there. Also, people are searching, especially when people are searching for somebody to do something for them. They're searching for cheap labor, and they can find it. Because there are a lot of people, like, for example, in Ukraine, there are very, very good 3D artists, character artists in Ukraine. And some of them could work for way less money than, for example, me. And they can do the same amount of work and the same job, but for less amount of money. And that's a problem, of course, for me. But it is what it is. They need it more, so let them do it. But generally, when a 3D artist is, or character artist, 3D character artist is good enough, they kind of start to know their price. They don't work for cheap anymore. So be careful. Can you show me a pan tablet, and can you add another camera for the hand movement in live stream? Yeah, it will be hard. First, my my desk is quite a mess. Second, a second camera here somewhere will be kind of hard to do. Also, my camera is connected because it's kind of a relatively cheap but good, with a good sensor camera. It's not a normal web camera that I'm using. I'm using Sony Alpha something, a camera with we call it a soap camera, we call it in Bulgaria, because it's looking like a piece of soap. It doesn't have exchangeable lenses or something. No, so I don't have another one. That's what I'm saying. And even if I have, it will be difficult because I'm using something called a capture card. A capture card is a device that you use in order to capture some footage. For example, I'm using it to capture the camera and to put it in the computer. Some people are using the capture to capture the footage from PS5 or PlayStation or other console, doesn't matter. But I'm using it for this. And it doesn't have too many ports, so I cannot actually attach another camera, I guess. If I think about it a lot, probably I could do it, but it's not gonna add too much value, in my opinion, to the content. And since I'm a content creator, influencer, and all that stuff, I try to think of ways to add more value, but not with too much work or money. If I have to do this, it will be a little bit more expensive. Recently I played, by the way, the free demo, Steam demo, or whatever. The stream for Pragmata. This game where you are a guy with a very huge suit, I mean, like a astronaut suit. And there is this girl, she's a robot, android, but she looks like a little girl with huge hair. And you're carrying her on your back, and she's hacking stuff with her arm like this, because she's a robot, or android. And you are shooting stuff. She's hacking it, and you're shooting it. If she doesn't hack it, you can shoot it and nothing happens, basically, because they are robots, and they're pretty healthy. So it's difficult if you don't hack it. So it's like interesting gameplay, but I'm not impressed, actually. I'm not impressed by this game at all. Why? I don't know. Recently, I haven't been impressed in a game for a while. I mean, not too much. I also am playing sometimes Ghost of Yotei, which is, if you know Ghost of Tsushima, which was the first game. Now Ghost of Yotei is the second game. It's from Sucker Punch Studios. And of course, again, I was expecting that. It's an amazing looking game. Gameplay is also pretty similar to Ghost of Tsushima. So that's why I like it. I'm having fun with this game, but not as much as I was hoping for. Which is, again, a bummer. Probably I'm not a gamer anymore. I was a gamer back in the days, but nowadays, probably I'm not anymore. But I'm having a lot of fun with Astrobot, which is kind of a childish game a little bit, but it's just super fun. This type of games like Ratchet and Clank and Astrobot are giving me a lot of fun these days. Ghost of Tsushima and Ghost of Yotei, yeah, pretty good, but also violent. Yeah, you are killing people with your sword. You are dismantling their arms or legs or whatever. It's a little bit gore, and I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of that anymore. I was back in the day. Not too much. Now, for example, I tried to watch the third season of The Invincible. Invincible is a animated TV series. I think it's in Amazon Prime or whatever. I'm not sure exactly where they, or Disney, not sure where they. I downloaded it from the torrent, so I don't know exactly where they, where it's on, because I have only Netflix. I'm paying for Netflix, and I don't want to pay for the others, so I use the torrents. That's why when people are downloading my courses from the torrents, I'm not mad at all, because I'm a torrent user since I was like 5. And I'm joking, of course, because when I was 5, internet was not something that was famous, especially in Bulgaria. Only when I became like 16, 17, then we kind of started to hear about the internet. It was the year 1996, 7, something like that. Around 30 years ago. The internet. So you see how I'm jumping from topic to topic. It's just in order to confuse you, and you don't pay attention to what I'm doing. And I also, unfortunately, confuse myself, and I don't pay attention to what I'm doing. Which is bad, because I am trying to do a character here, and it's difficult to do a character if you don't know what you're doing. So yeah. Yeah, sometimes we just don't do it. By the way, I'm not looking at the character too much because I already did a 3D sketch just a couple of minutes ago. Just before I started the stream, I just have worked on this, and I realized I will not be able to do this character in this stream because it's pretty complex. I forgot how to do chains, for example, and they require a little bit of time to make it, so it will be hard. Yeah, I know I have courses that I have made chains like Lobo, for example, but when I do a course, I learn something like chains. I learn how to do it in Blender from YouTube, for example. And then I do the course. If I don't practice the skill that I've learned, I forget it. So now I don't know how to do a chain properly. You know, in order to do the chain and wrap it around, it's good to make a chain with array modifier and then to apply it on a curve. But this requires a little bit of tests to make it work. So I will not do that right now. Although I probably will be able to show you my process of learning, so I will go to the browser. I will find the video. I will watch it. Maybe watch it in fast forward a little bit, so it will not take too much time. And then, because there is an option in YouTube to go like 2 times the speed, to speed up the video, which is great. I use it sometimes, especially for educational content, because I'm a fast learner. I don't want to lose too much time, and I just go fast. And most people, when they are making educational content, they're putting unnecessary stuff. So fast forward is absolutely necessary in order to keep your sanity in check. That's what I'm thinking. I also try to, okay, can you show me your pen tablet? No, okay, is 4 hours of practice enough to be good in 5 years? Yes, I think so. 4 hours a day, every day, it's pretty much enough, but of course it has to be deliberate practice. It has to be a practice that you are actually doing something, learning something each day. So, learning the anatomy shapes and forms, and analyzing them, not only just sculpting them, but analyzing them and thinking about it is gonna be the key. And it's not easy because you have to concentrate, and nowadays, it's, even for me, it's much harder to concentrate than back in the day. Back in the days, it was easy because we didn't have the Instagrams, TikToks, YouTubes, Shorts, and all this kind of junk that we have today. We didn't have it back in the days. It was easier to concentrate, to stay on focus. Nowadays, not so much. So I don't envy the young people who are trying to achieve something these days because of all the distractions that you have available to you. We have so many amazing games right now, so many like videos, even educational videos, but most of this stuff will just carry you away from your goal. Not the educational, of course. If you're watching videos about Blender, if you're watching videos about sculpting, of course that's gonna probably inspire you, not take you away. But if you go and watch videos about the latest movies that will come out, or about some game that somebody is playing and you're not playing, you just watch it because your computer is not good enough, for example. I know how it works, right? And then probably it will take you away from the goal, from the main purpose. Now, the overall position of our character is not bad, of EarthWorm Jim, or may I say EarthWorm Spoon. I am a little bit upset that Spoon is not that famous. I mean, there are not too many movies about it. There is an animated series, I think, yeah, with a clown and everything. There is, there are a couple of movies, I'm not sure how many, at least one. But not recently. And it's a pretty dramatic character, I would say. Spoon. Yeah, he is all about revenge and stuff, which is kind of like many other characters. It's not something super original, but it's kind of original. He's brought back from the dead. He's a little bit like the Crow. Brought back from the dead to, you know, to be a vengeful spirit. I like that he has the gun of EarthWorm Jim, the head of EarthWorm Jim, kind of, and the body of Spawn, completely. Can you show me your penta better? Okay. Hi Nico, very thanks for all from Guatemala. Guatemala, nice. I didn't know that Guatemala is watching here. Okay, there is somebody who just wanted to be in timeout a little bit. Let's go. 30-minute timeout is nice. Too much spam is not gonna work for anybody. It's not a good kind of a thing. Nico, hi. Where are you from? I'm from Bulgaria. What's the best way to pose high poly sculpt over 4 million polygons? Blender crashes if I try parent with weights. Yeah, I would suggest to make it with masks in sculpt mode. Mask move. It will be a hideous job. It will take some time, but I think it's the best way if Blender is crashes all the time. The other way you can do it is decimate it and then rig it, but then you will lose some detail, of course, and you will have to remesh, you'll have to redo some stuff, which is also a possibility if you want. But my advice, just in sculpt mode, mask stuff, move it. I will show you a little bit right now. So, let's make both arms. I will just remesh them. But I have to connect them first. So connect and remesh. And then I will make the details a little bit of the arms, because it will be easier later. Of course, when we fold one of the arms, bend it, then we'll have to do a lot more sculpting, but the overall measures of the arm, forearm, lower arm and everything will be the same between both. That's why we're doing most things in symmetry mode, and then we're posing. If you are posing from the beginning, that's possibility. Some artists are working like that, but those artists are very good, and they usually have a traditional sculpting background, because in traditional sculpting you don't have symmetry actually, so you have to just can start the pose anyway because you don't have symmetry. Now here we have the luxury of symmetry, and that's why we can just do everything from symmetry and then just pose the character. It's I think it's logical to do that because it is the better way. He has, I think, some kind of nails. So let's do this. Because he's half monster, half human. He is a spawn. After all, a spawn means a creature from hell. And he is something like that. Although he is also a hero, right? Because he is fighting for justice, which is great. We love it. We love heroes. And most of the heroes, as you know, are from United States of America. Nowadays, we don't see United States of America as a heroic country because of the cowardly leadership of the orange potato guy. So orange potatoes are potatoes with a taste of something orange. Yeah, the orange potato in the White House. He is always in my monologue here, because He's messing up the world, as we can see. I'm not saying that nobody else in the United States would do something like that. Probably somebody would do eventually exactly what he's doing. I don't know. Exactly the same stuff. Because United States, they have to do this and this and this. They have some foreign politics that they have to do. And one of those foreign politics is to attack Iran, of course. He's done that. And now he will bear the consequences, which will be huge. I will be very, very surprised if he's not impeached until the end of this year. Because of all of the stupid things that he has done. But maybe he will not be. And that will be surprising. And sad, of course. It will be that it will mean that the democracy is not working, but we know that it's not working, so it's fine. Democracy is something that hasn't been working too much in the last, let's say, 15 to 20 years. It's kind of deteriorating. That's why there are more and more wars, and that's why the autocratic regimes in many countries are winning. Like in Hungary, our favorite European autocratic country, Hungary. Hopefully, this month, they will get rid of this government, but we'll see. I'm talking about Viktor, our favorite guy, Viktor Orban. It's not our favorite guy, it's Trump's favorite guy. Trump likes dictators. He likes autocratian leaders. Like Putin, like Trump, like Orban and Trump. He wants to be like that. Probably he will be one day, nobody knows. Although, he doesn't have much time, I think. He's like, how much? 80 years old? When you're 80 and you don't look that healthy, anything can happen in any given time. I'm not wishing him bad things, but thanks to him, millions are suffering, and hundreds millions will suffer in the whole world. I'm not talking only about Iran and people who are bombarded there. So yeah. But he doesn't care. He's a psychopath, so it's fine for him. And don't get me wrong, if I was on his place, I probably would do some similar things. Of course, I will try to be more modest, at least to look more like a normal person, not a psychopath. He doesn't care, which can be a good thing. I mean, he's not a hypocrite that much, although he's lying all the time, which is kind of interesting. But he's a politician, it's normal for them. They're lying all the time, but you have to lie a little bit, like lie here and there, but here and there tell the truth, because otherwise, whatever you say, nobody will believe you. And that's how Trump is now. Whatever he's saying, he's going out and saying, yeah, American people should endure a little bit more. He's only care about Americans, but all the world is suffering right now. American people should endure a little bit more, and we will end this war, and everything will go back, and even the prices will go below the levels before. And when I listen this, I know that this is a complete lie, because Trump is only lying. So I know that nothing will be like before. It will be much worse. The prices will not go down. And that's why I understand, you know, when he's talking. You have to know the language. I mean, you have to know the code. And I cracked the code on Trump, so I know it. You just hear, you have to hear whatever he said backwards. So if he's saying that everything will be okay, nothing will be okay. If he's saying that the war will end soon, it will not end soon. And everything, you know, this is just how this works, and how it was working from day one with Trump. Everybody is disappointed of him, even me. I believed in him. When they tried to assassinate him, I said, okay, yeah, they're trying to assassinate him like Kennedy, so probably he's doing something right. Whoa, boy, I was wrong, man, I was wrong. Now, Orban and his party, in order to stay in power, they tried, I think they already tried, or they will try, I'm not sure, to fake an assassination attempt, so they can get a shot like the Trump shot with the fist and everything. I'm not completely sure. I was thinking about this assassination attempt on Trump, and I was thinking, okay, this gave him so much, like many people were voting for him because of the assassination attempt, because they believe that probably he will do something differently. That's sad of us that we are so stupid. But and by we, I'm saying that if I was American when the Trump assassination happened, or attempt, I would vote for Trump also, back in the days. So I consider myself stupid also, you know, like all those people who voted for him and believe that he will do good for the ordinary guy, although he is a relatively rich person, and he's even richer now when he got all these bribes and stuff from other countries and from his own country, corrupted stuff. It's amazing, amazing. And I'm not sure why there are 129 people watching this, since I'm like talking about Trump, and people are not into politics that much. But since this is my channel and I'm talking about whatever I want, I'm talking about politics, I'm talking about autocratic regimes, I'm talking about diets, healthy eating or not healthy eating, also a lot of things which are not exactly character art, but people are watching. I don't know. I don't know what is happening with you people. You're supposed to be young people who are not interested in politics, who are not interested in all this crap, you know. But I don't know how in this day and age a person can be not interested in this politics stuff. Maybe I'm old. Maybe that's it. That's it. Probably I'm old. That's why I'm interested. By the way, let's see. So his one arm is grabbing the pistol handle. So basically it will be kind of folded fingers. So let's make them folded. In the other arm also the fingers are relatively folded, so there will be relatively folded fingers. So I'm making them folded from the start. Okay. What was the Shift E? Yeah, Shift E is crease. Sometimes I forget some shortcuts, but it's normal. It's not because of old age. What makes you forget a shortcut is that you don't use it a lot. When you don't use a shortcut for a long time, then you will definitely forget it. So I suggest, especially for the main shortcuts, just practice it all the time. Which means just do characters or do some stuff which will practice the shortcuts also. But the characters are, I think, the best way. So what was this? Oh, I applied the mirror of the arm. Okay, it's not a problem. I will do a symmetry. But even if I don't do a symmetry and I work only on one of the arms, I then will be able to just duplicate it to the other. Delete the other one and duplicate this one, so, or mirror it. It's not a huge issue. We can always do that. So let's do a little bit more on this finger and then duplicate it. If I duplicate it before I do a little bit, before I work a little bit on it, usually it means that I have to do this, what I'm doing now, a couple of times for the other fingers, which is never a perfect scenario. we have to be a little bit more, you know, keeping our energy. That's not easy, but we are doing it. How much time have passed? Ooh, almost an hour. Yeah, how fast time flies, right? How fast time flies. Let's see what's happening in the chat. Kitty, cute cat, gorgeous, adorable. Yeah, it's pretty, yeah, that's why I'm showing you, because I know that you will say that it's adorable and everything, and I will gain some points. Yeah, it's a super cute cat, and it's, as I said, she's a very, very, very good girl. Also, when she's meowing, when she's making sounds, they are way not so loud. She's quieter than most cats that I've seen and that I've heard. So I like it a lot. I like that she's like meh, meh, just very, very quiet. And now, at this time, she's sleeping on the couch, just casually. And in the night, she's also sleeping in the hallway. We have one pillow for her, and she's laying in the pillow, sleeping there. Doesn't bother her. It's amazing. In the beginning, I was like, she will probably bother us. And how do we get a cat? We didn't mean to get a cat, but she got into our apartment building somehow, from somewhere, I don't know. Probably was a house cat before, and I don't know if she ran away from somewhere. We tried to search for the owner. Nobody answered. I mean, in the Facebook groups of our neighborhood, we posted pictures, asked if somebody is missing a cat, but nobody. And since she's a pretty good cat, and my daughter was asking for an animal for a long time, we decided that, my wife actually decided that it's gonna be a good idea to get this cat. And yeah, that's how we got it. She's got the cat. Make a sculpt of that cat human version. Could be, yeah. My friend from Ukraine moved to Bulgaria, and he says that a lot of funny words there, like in Bulgarian melon, it's watermelon in Ukrainian. Yeah, that's in Slavic languages, melon and watermelon sometimes are mixed, especially in Bulgarian. In the other Slavic languages, the words for watermelon and melon in our language are kind of switched compared to the others. Like Serbian is switched, I think, and others also. So yeah, that's funny. There are funny things here. Also, people are saying that we are, when we say no, we say like in a different way. I mean, normal people are saying yes and no. We are saying yes and no. But I'm not sure about that. I mean, people are saying that we do. They're constantly repeating that we do, and I'm not completely sure that we actually do that. With the heads. Okay, I like for him to have a little bit bigger hands probably, but I think he's fine with those. Now, if I have to pose him a little bit, this arm, his left arm will stay the same. His right arm, I have to bend it a lot, move it forward, and point it upwards. So we have to separate those arms. First, we have to join fingers and... but before that, we have to apply the mirror modifier. Then we have to join fingers and arms. Then, when they are joined, we can separate them now. So we go to edit mode. By the way, I'm wondering, edit mode is fine with my computer, but for some people, entering edit mode with 1,000,000 polygons or more, it will mean that their computer will crash, most likely. So yeah, it's a little bit more difficult to separate parts if you don't enter edit mode. In edit mode, it's easy. You just press P selection, and it's done. You separate them. If you have to do it with million polygons without edit mode, you have to go to sculpt mode, you have to mask one of the parts, and then you have to go to mask, most likely mask slice to a new object or something like this, I guess. It's a little bit harder, so be careful. Now, we have to select this, and let's see, maybe I will remove the symmetry. Let's go to sculpt mode, mask this, and then smooth the mask a little bit. And I need the mask to go to the elbow, because, you know, overall the move will be from the elbow, and we'll have a lot to sculpt after. Then I will just invert the mask and put my pivot of rotation around this area, and then squeeze like this. This will be good, I think. Now, maybe move it a little bit like this, and then I will disable the overall mask and move the arm. I will move it in edit mode, it will be much easier. Move the arm forward like this. So, the problem here is that our shoulder is not... we have to make the shoulder also kind of doing this. It has to go forward. It has to accommodate this. Also, we have to sculpt here, so the muscle, the biceps should be smaller and a little bit like more bumped like this. Here even we can have a little bit of, I think we will see. Yeah, EarthWorm Jim is always in this pose. Alright, let's see what we can do. And yeah, I think we can just disable the symmetry and start working on making the shoulder fit. When we are lifting our arm, the chest muscle will kind of go a little bit like that, and everything will go backwards, and the shoulder will go a lot backwards like this. But it depends how you're doing it. We have to just adjust it. It's always good to have a reference that we can work from. Since we don't have a reference, we will have to... we have a reference, but we don't see the shoulder. That's what I'm saying. We don't see the shoulder and the chest. The 2D artists, they don't care so much about this. But usually, when we're lifting our arm, the chest will get flatter and it will lift up a little bit. So he didn't make that. This chest is equal to this chest. But we have to do it because we are better than this. You know, some people are 2D artists. 3D is more than 2D, right? So we have to be better. Also, the thing is that character artists are the most skillful, or supposed to be the most skillful 3D artists. I'm not talking about animators or something. I'm talking about environment artists compared to character artists. The character artist needs to know a little bit more. He needs to know anatomy, which is a huge, huge thing. Anatomy is not something that you learn over a day or over even an year. Although you can learn enough anatomy in a year, but you have to be pretty much like learning all day and every day. Basically, anatomy is learned all your life. And for environment art, yeah, you can just do houses and it's gonna be fine. Without anatomy. The anatomy of the house probably is something to worry about, the anatomy of the house. But I don't know. This biceps is going a little bit crazy, but I want it to be relatively big. We'll see. And maybe I will straighten his wrist. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, let's try it again. Now it happened. I don't know. Sometimes, as I said, I forget the shortcuts. And now it should be like Control, right click, and then do it, or left click and then do it. If I forget the controls or I forget something, I start testing, and something usually works at some point. Alright, so in order for him to hold the gun upwards, we need to rotate this arm upwards, like this. And maybe move it a little bit like this. And then we'll have to fix it. But first let's move it like that, and then a little bit more up. I think this should work, something like that. And of course we have to fix a lot of things here. But, you know, what helps? Smooth. Smooth. And when you have smoothed the surface, then you can go and add some bones and other stuff. But smooth is usually working wonders. Here we have to fold some of the fingers, and that's why I kept them separated, because it will be easier to fold them like this. Go here and just, you know, just move them in the position that we want. Okay, L, then G to move, and this will grab the gun eventually. Then we can move them with the sculpting brushes, no problem at all. It's not perfect yet, but again, when we make all the details, like I need to make a cape, I need to make those things on his arms with the sharp thingies. So a lot of things, they need to be done. But be careful when you are making this type of stuff. Shoulder and chest are very important. We need to make sure that when the arm is lifted, the shoulder and chest changes. Otherwise, we'll be left with something like abomination, which we don't want. I even will flatten this chest a little bit here, more than the other one. And it should look a little bit better. Yeah. This one, the arm is down, the chest is fuller, and it's cool. This one, the arm is up, the chest is not that full because it's stretched. You know, the chest muscles, they're attached to this bone, this arm bone here. For example, let me try. So the arm bone, this one, is around like this here. And the chest muscle is attached on around here. So when we are lifting our arm and rotating it outwards, we are stretching the chest. It's kind of rotating with the muscle and it's pulling it. So when we are pulling the chest muscle, then the chest muscle has to get flatter. It's impossible to stay like very, very full and everything like it's here. So yeah, although this guy, who is called Marcelo Ventura, by the way, in the chat, here in the chat, in the YouTube, you will find a pinned link. And the pinned link is to his ArtStation of Marcelo Ventura. Because this guy is a very good illustrator. And he's making very interesting heroes. Like mixing up some heroes, and it's fun. So, yeah, why not? He has 150,000 subscribers, I think, in ArtStation, which is great. Way more than me. I don't think I have even 10,000 subscribers in ArtStation. So if you want, you can subscribe to my ArtStation too. It's my ArtStation is called, let me see. I don't know how it's called. Speed Chart 3D. speech art 3D, and I have 6,300 and something followers, which is not that much. Here it is, 600 something, 50 posts, a lot of posts. 50 posts is not that a low amount. This is one of my best works. Oh, this was just for fun, from AI concept basically. So yeah, but still, it came out pretty well. A 3D model came out pretty nicely. And you see, the presentation is also important. Here we have a music.
Come check this.
You probably don't hear it quite well, but the idea is that it's relatively good render, bright, everything is visible. There is a rim light, all this kind of stuff that are making your character pop. I'm using it because I know that I have to use it in order to become more sellable, we may say. To be more... commercial. Yeah, that was the word that I was seeking. Commercial. Sometimes I'm just like, what was the word? And I'm trying to not say or something, because I think it's unprofessional. So when I'm thinking, or when I don't know what to say, I usually try to just stay silent without... Now this new stuff is very important to... some people are using when they are speaking in order to in their mind, in their subconscious, they are continuously speaking. They are not making any pause. That's why that's how they are like imposing themselves. They are constantly speaking. It's irritating. We have to be careful with yeah. I'm sometimes doing it. I catch myself when I'm watching my stream sometimes a little bit just to see how I do, which is good, by the way. There are always those kind of vocal coaches or coaches who are teaching you how to speak. They're always saying that you have to record yourself speaking about something and then evaluating yourself without sound first to see how your posture is. And then with sound, just listening to your voice, and then both to listen and to hear yourself and to watch yourself. So yeah, that's exactly that. I said it. So sometimes I'm doing it. I'm just trying not to do it quite often. It's not good. So if you have a YouTube channel and you're speaking in this channel, you're not relying solely on speed ups or AI, try to not too much. It's, for me at least, it's very off-putting when I hear somebody this and that. Not good. That's my advice. Maybe for some people, or for most people, it's not a problem, I guess. Probably. No, I don't know. But for me at least, it's a huge issue. It's putting me off immediately from whatever content is there. That's why people with millions of subscribers, they don't do this. They teach themselves at some point to speak more naturally and to not... I sometimes am speaking like a robot. I'm making some awkward pauses here and there, but that's because I am not using my whole brain for speaking purposes, since I'm sculpting and speaking at the same time, which not many people can do, of course, and for me it's not a huge issue, it's not a problem that much, but sometimes when I need to concentrate on the sculpt a little bit, then it's a problem, of course, when I'm distracted a little bit. Okay, I'm not super fan of this yet. Maybe we can take all this hand and just move it a little bit like, yeah, it will be a little bit more natural this way. This way, nobody is doing that. But this way, I think it's better. You see, just a tiny bit of movement. Again, I did just a tiny bit of move but it makes a huge difference in the overall view of the model. Let's try to make something like a cape. This cape is pretty complex, and maybe you would think that as a character artist for many years, I would know how to approach this in order to make it work, this cape, but I am not exactly sure. Those things here that are these pointy things probably will be done by just plane, and then, but from where this plane will originate, how it will kind of do the approach, I'm not completely sure. The 2D artists have this kind of they can do this without repercussions, but we can't. We have to make everything logical in order for this to be 3D printable, for example. If I do this just for a sketch, just for something that you will look from the 3/4 or from the front like this, yeah, I can do whatever I want. I can do the same things that he has done. But since I want this to be 3D printable, why? You will ask, why do you want this to be 3D printable? Because I like it a lot. This concept inspires me. That's why I'm saying, find some concept that inspires you, that when you see it, you say, I want to do this. I want to put the time and effort. I want to have fun with this particular concept. If you find a concept like this, it will not be work, it will be fun. It will be just having fun. Of course, there will be challenges, but overcoming challenges is a very, very nice part of the process, and turns out to be probably one of the best parts of the process. Because when you overcome some challenge, you feel like you have done something right. And you kind of become more happy. Happier, we may say. If you don't overcome challenges in your life, most likely you will be depressed, and you will be sad, and you will be lonely, and you will never find true love. I don't know about that, of course, but challenges are important. Challenges are important. Nico, when can you do a stream on Discord? I did it last Monday. Last Monday we didn't have a stream in YouTube. I did only in Discord. Sometimes, if I want to do a character which is like a sexy female character, for example, I don't like to do it in YouTube because YouTube is probably gonna ban my video at some point. The YouTube is very bad. So in the Discord, we can do whatever we want. And again, we're doing art, we're not doing pornography or something. But YouTube doesn't know that, doesn't care. So it's just banning us right away. It's banning the video actually. And I'm like, but why? This is art. I'm doing this from scratch. This is, yeah. It's, wow. It's a good thing actually. When you're making a female character in YouTube, live or not live, doesn't matter, and YouTube kind of bans your video because of pornographic content, it means that you're doing something right, that your anatomy is on point, that it's looking like nice. So it's kind of flattering a little bit, but other than that, no. How are you, sir? Fine, thank you. Hello, Nico. Have you plans to do a haircut course? No. You know, after I do this course, which will be for beginners with the Rabbit Samurai, which will be a full game character development course, only in Blender. Although, we'll see, but it will be a Blender course, so it's only fair to be only in Blender. Not Blender and Substance Painter, for example. So when I do this course, then most likely I will start to train to do some kind of a monster course. Not a course to teach you how to do any monster, But some particular monster I want to make. I don't know which one yet, but we will see. Some monster there will be. It'll be cool, I guess. Monster is always nice. And people are asking me for a long time to do a monster course. Then we may do some anatomy, but animal anatomy course. Again, I said I'm sorry for that. But animal anatomy course would be nice, which probably will include horse, maybe a cat, maybe an insect also, like an ant or a bee. Because when you're doing your monsters, it's good to know all the anatomies. I mean, human anatomy, of course, is one of the most important ones for even for monsters, but also bear anatomy, very good for monsters. Snake anatomy, not bad, although probably lizard or alligator anatomy would be better, or Komodo dragon. Yeah. But those anatomies are important. If you want to do monsters, you have to know your anatomies. All of them. Probably horse anatomy is not as important for this, but horses usually are one of the animals that are mostly represented in games. You are riding horse in many games, like night games or, of course, Red Dead Redemption games. I call this the cowboy games are, or Wild West games are Red Dead Redemption games. Because this is the most famous title, at least for me, of that type of games. Let's make the weapon actually, it's gonna be very easy. How much time have passed? Ooh, 1 hour and a half almost, but not quite, so we'll see. Now, the weapon will be this. I will move it up here to still have the symmetry. Let's see if I have my view. No, I don't have it. Yeah, now it's better. Alright. So, yeah, when you are working on a character, which is a human character especially, but not only human, and you are making a face, then you want your focal length here in this menu, where I'm pressing N to get, to be over 80, 85. Over 85. Nowadays I do it 111 because it's easier, just press 1 3 times, and 1 is very close to my left hand, which I'm using for all the shortcuts. That's why it's super easy for me. That's why I'm doing it. And I think 111 is a pretty good focal length for, especially for faces. For bodies, the focal length of 50 is fine, but for faces, it's not. For faces, they're becoming fisheye, and that's not a good thing. If you are thinking that fisheye is good, then yeah, probably it's fine, but for most people, it's not that good, because you cannot see your model quite well. It's like sculpting traditionally with clay and looking through the camera, through the GoPro camera. You have in a GoPro camera, and instead of looking directly to the object, you're looking through the GoPro camera. It's not gonna work quite well. That's what I'm saying. That's why the best way to work and to sculpt is to have a good perspective, which is a normal perspective. And the normal perspective of the eye, my understanding is to be around between 85 and 120, something like this. It's a good perspective for us. Sometimes I use AI to make my base model and then sculpt over it and manually retopple, but it's great to have to save a lot of time. It's possible, yes. Hello Nico, greetings from Brazil. I need to talk to you. Thanks for your course of anatomy. This helps me to improve too much. Nice works. Oh, too much. If it's too much, then you have to watch just half of the course. Because if you go too much, if you become too much good, then it will be a problem. So be careful. Just do half of the course and then just throw it away, because too much is not good. You have to be careful. Confi UI and Kimodo looks good. 3D AI most of the time follows full workflow till making animation movement. I think that's very good, but not sure how much time it takes. 3D AI, sometimes working, sometimes not. That's what I'm saying. That's why people, some people are trying, and some people are doing some 3D characters with 3D AI, but 3D AI characters are not still for, they're not going to be for AAA game, for AAA game, for example, which means like a good title. Maybe for some people, the 3D AI characters will be pretty nice for just a sketch for the game. What I mean by that is you have an idea and you can use the 3D AI to just make some assets to put in the engine to make your idea more visible. And they will look decent. But when you get close, you will see some things. And also, as you know, nowadays, the gamers community, when they see AI used in some games, they're not acting very, very rationally. So, I guess that for some time, the developers will restrain themselves of using too much AI in their games, because this will give them negative popularity. Even Crimson Desert, that they had some AI paintings on some walls, which is nothing, they I think removed those paintings in a patch at some point because of the backlash, and they didn't want the backlash. Their game is famous, Crimson Desert is pretty famous, and they want to get only good reviews, not bad. Nothing bad can happen, only good can happen, or something like this is what Trump was saying. Trump is amazing. I mean, so many memes, I mean, we call them memes in I mean, I call them memes, whatever, but memes, yeah, so many memes, so many fun things, but overall he's breaking the world. I guess the world would break even without him, but now he's the one doing it, so we can blame him, and it's a nice thing to be able to blame somebody. I like it. I'm super happy. Now, what is this thing here? This is some kind of a glove, and then we have this thing on top of it. Okay, so first I think we should use a cylinder, then put it here. This cylinder, I will increase the size of it. If I was now to start learning Blender, for example, what would I do? I would go to YouTube. There are plenty of courses for Blender 5 right now in YouTube, free. Of course, not any one of them is character course, but it doesn't matter. The thing is that to learn Blender, not only for characters, to learn it. So I would watch all of them. I will try to do the donut. I will go to Grand Abbott and try to do his course. I will do all of them, and each one will teach me a little bit more. Each one will teach me something different sometimes, a different approach. And also, there will be a lot of things which will, of course, repeat themselves. A lot of actions that I have to repeat, but that's a good thing, because repetition is a mother of knowledge, we are saying here in my country. Repetition is the mother of knowledge. If you want to know something, you have to repeatedly do it. Otherwise, you will not know it. You will not succeed. Repetition. If I was not sculpting for years and years and years, and if I'm not sculpting almost every day, at some point I will not be as good, right? And that's a problem actually, because I'm actually not sculpting every day. That's the actual truth. I have to start sculpting every day. This concept, this particular concept, is a rare thing that inspires me. I haven't seen that made in 3D, although I'm sure that somebody probably made it, because it's super inspiring, and it's a muscular superhero character. It's a mix between two characters that I love, EarthWorm Jim and Spawn. So I think there is something to that. By the way, for this particular thing that is on here, what my goal will be is to take, for example, this, duplicate it, and then I will try to make this as a 3D sketch for the armor part. And then I will put some very low poly count on it, polygons, and we'll see. By the way, I have to try to put this concept in Trello and see how it will do. Or in Huion. Let's try it both. How to do this? Let's see if I have my downloads here. And it's here. Okay, it's in downloads. Is it the big one? Okay, this one. Okay. Now I will open Huion, get the downloads and drag it in here. And Huion will start doing its job. The latest version of Huion is 3.1. Generate immediately. Now, let's go to open Trello. Tripo, it's not Trello, it's Tripo. Okay, I will show you something. This is Tripo. Tripo, by the way, maybe is one of the best 3D generators right now. And I tried to generate, just to see how it will work, this rabbit, which will be for the course. And overall, it's not a bad work, but it's absolutely unusable, because you see the swords, they are bad. They are bad in the concept too, not super nice, but the concept is actually done by me. I mean, relatively, I took some AI concept, I shrinked, I drew a lot of things, so it's basically half AI, half me, and this arm here is hideous, the face of the rabbit is not completely nice, maybe the kimono is kind of fine, this tail is stupid. It's just a ball. The pose is cool. The pose is nice. We can kind of take a little bit from this. The pose especially. So yeah. But let's generate image. Generate image. Okay, no. We want to generate model. Let's delete this and add the EarthWorm Gym. And see if this will be able to generate. So, generally, if I want to generate a 3D model from this image, I would go to first a 2D, like Nano Banana, for example. I will go to Nano Banana and say to isolate, or I will do it in Photoshop, to isolate only the main character. And then we will have only the main character. Now we will have a lot of things around the main character, and I'm not sure how it will work. Let's generate multi-views and see what will happen actually. Oh, it's only available in the paid version. Okay, we'll not do that. The paid version probably is worth it if you are working with those type of characters and parts of characters a lot, every day. But since I'm not, it's not worth it for me at all. Let's generate model and see what will happen. The rabbit will stay here because it's generated before. And okay, let's see how Huion is doing. Nothing. This one is gonna take some time too. So we will get back to it in a couple of minutes. But until then, we will read some comments. By the way, I haven't saved here. So let's save. Let's look at it with a little bit of shadow. Not quite bad. In the shadow. Okay. Dobre. Nice. Dobre. Nice. Greetings from Brazil. I need to talk to you. Thanks to... this was the... Too much anatomy, yes. I tried to do Huion retopology. I wouldn't have to fix that in addition to modeling. It can speed up the process, but if you want a professional game-ready model, you have to work to do. Yeah, of course. And also Huion or Huion or whatever it's called, it can make some low polys I haven't tried it actually. I've seen some YouTube videos, but the high poly has to be relatively low, like 1 million polygons or something, which is, I mean, absurd. Some of my models are 20 million or more. It's difficult. Greetings from Turkey. Hello. You're per day over $350 for freelance. I don't know what you mean by that. I know a guy with 3 years of experience getting 2K per month being a freelancer, but he's 15. Oh, nice. Nice. He's doing nice. Nico, I got a question. Do really love your courses, but can I still follow some of the ZBrush courses if I use Blender? I guess you can if you know Blender enough. Because the ZBrush courses, usually for some of the things, I use ZBrush things. For example, when I'm making hard surface in ZBrush, there is something called what was this brush? Z-Modeler brush, I think it was called. Yeah, Z-Modeler brush is amazing. You can do hard surface better than normal hard surface programs if you know how to use it. The Z-Modeler brush. It's super fast, super nice. But nowadays I'm using mostly Blender for everything, so I don't know. You can, actually. You can try. Sapun camera, yes. Hey Nico. Could you please tell us about what inspired you to pursue this field while living in Bulgaria? Did people try to discourage you? What learning resources did you use? So learning resources were mostly, especially in the beginning where YouTube was not that famous. When I started doing 3D, YouTube was not existent. I started learning 3D when I was a student in the university. I started with 3D Max. And there was no YouTube, but we had some tutorials. For example, 3D Max I learned especially and mostly from the tutorials inside the program itself. There was a help. You go to help, and then there is a tutorial how to make a chess figurine. For example, a pawn or a bishop or whatever. And then you start doing those things and you start to develop your skill. It was very cool, by the way, and that's why I'm planning in my latest course to kind of steal a little bit from 3D Max and to make a chess figurine in the beginning of the course, before we start working on a character, to make a chess figurine, because it's relatively easy and it's kind of honing your skill to move around, to fix your viewpoint, only frontal or whatever, to zoom in out, select vertices, add edge loops and stuff like this, which are very important things. And the most important, of course, for beginners is to navigate in the program properly. But this is only happening while you work. You will only learn with practice. Nothing else can teach you. That's the gospel truth. So yeah, what inspired me to pursue this? I was drawing characters my whole life. Only characters, not environment. Only like muscular characters, superheroes, whatever. That's what I like to do. And when I become a 2D artist in Gameloft, I was doing concepts for that type of stuff usually. Like soldiers and yeah, and so on. But at some point, since I was pretty good in designing stuff, I was a good designer, they started to give me only UI, icons, buttons to design those things, which was not what I wanted. And at some point, there was a little bit of scarce 3D artists for one of the projects to make some weapons. And I said, okay, I know some 3D Max, let me try it. And since there were some 3D artists next to me, sitting next to me, for some things that I didn't understand, I can ask them. So I didn't use too much in the beginning, courses or something. I used real knowledge from real people. I had this kind of a luck to have this opportunity to learn from people with years and years of experience. A lot of years. one of the guy was using 3D Max since version 1 point something. So in the 90s he was using. He was one of the first in Bulgaria to use 3D Max, and he was working with us in Gameloft. He was older than me. Not much older, like maybe 6-7 years older. But still, yeah. And I learned a lot from him. Later I learned from other people also, but also some things that we are learning are from the torrents. It's not only me downloading torrents. Whoever finds some tutorial, they always share with the group. We were like a couple of 3D artists, character artists, and we were sharing between us some cool tutorials that we have watched. And then YouTube came, and you know, that's all history. I may say I have not bought too much courses on characters. The only big purchase that I made was because I was super impressed by Proco in YouTube, the YouTube channel, Proco. He has amazing anatomy course, one of the best I've seen. And I bought it from his website, proco.com, I think. And it was like $200 or so. So that's one of the biggest purchases on courses that I have made. Other than that, YouTube and torrents. If I have to be honest. But if I have to not be honest, learning from the orange potato, I have bought all the courses that I can find. I have spent like thousands of dollars on courses. It's just madness. I mean, yeah, in order to learn, you have to spend huge amount of money for courses. Of course, my courses. If I lie, I have to lie to benefit myself, right? Yeah. Like the orange potato guy. I mean, we can learn from him. Of course, I cannot do that. I cannot lie. I don't like it. That's why I'm just joking. When I'm joking, I can lie. No problem. But other than that, no. I don't like lying. I like to be honest for everything. And if I don't want to say something, I just don't say it. Instead of lying about it, you know. That's the idea. For example, somebody asked me, how much money are you making a month right now, Nico? I don't want to say. That's the idea. But it's less than $5,000, for example. Some months, way less, but it depends. When you are something like a freelancer, you don't have... when you don't have income that's from a company or something, then your income can vary pretty much a lot. Some months I'm pretty happy, some months no. And also on this amount of money I have to pay some taxes, I have to pay government tax, I have to pay my insurances and all the stuff. So it's like, yeah, Nico is getting $5,000 every month. Wow, it's amazing. Yeah, but it's not exactly that much amazing. And yeah, if I was living alone, like I was living, let's say, 12 years ago, then this money would be just like amazing. Even now in this day and age, nowadays I have to pay for my daughter's private school. She's in the private school. Why? Because you see, in the beginning, when she had to go to kindergarten, in Bulgaria, especially in the capital, we have problem with the kindergarten. With the kindergartens, it's very difficult to get your kid into a not private kindergarten. So she didn't get into a non-private kindergarten, so government kindergarten, which is free. So we had to put her in a private kindergarten and to pay some money, which is not ideal, but it's normal. And then this kindergarten they also have a school. And we decided that it's it's good. They teach them English and other stuff. It's quite expensive, but we can afford it for now. When we cannot afford it anymore, she probably will go to a normal school, not private one. But until we can afford it, it's fine. And yeah, expenses when you have a family are, you know, you have to have a car, you have to support this car, and the car is, you know, you are paying some money every year for this car for maintenance. It's not one thing. A lot of things they are. Let's go. Spawn, hand cam, engagement increase. Okay, go. Pragmata is a father simulator in the cyberpunk future. I was excited for Pragmata. Are you impressed by Resident Evil? No, I haven't played any Resident Evil games. I don't like games which are a little bit more scary than I like. I mean, the most scary game that I played probably was maybe Stalker a little bit. Fallout is not very scary, so I don't know. I don't play too scary games. Your son is playing games. Yeah, he's trying to play, but he has only a phone, not a computer, so he cannot play too much or too big games. It's like Pinocchio that, but cyborg hacker girl instead of lying. But yeah, you should try Marvel Rivals. Yeah, I think you said that in the last time. What do you think about robots? There are some look pretty human. Are they going to replace traditional artists? The robots probably will start to replace plumbers, builders, not artists. Artists can be replaced easily by the AI. And traditional artists, they don't need to be replaced. Their work is very niche right now, so nobody wants to replace them. There is no money there. But, you know, the professions that will be replaced because it's more profitable for the big companies. And what will happen is more inequality. The poor will get poorer, and the richer will get richer. The rich will get richer. That's where we're going, where we're heading. Amazon Prime, okay, good. I use a Gaimon tablet on Mac. It's fine, a couple hundred. Yeah, of course. No problem with those kind of tablets. Heniko, I was still planning on having a Patreon with one-on-one feedback. The one-on-one feedback I'm not sure about, except for probably the highest thing, and only for maybe 20 minutes or so. I'm not sure, because if I get, like, let's say $30 a month you pay, and I say 1 hour with Nico one-on-one feedback for this $30 a month, it's a good deal. But let's say 100 people apply for this. Yes, I will get $3,000 a month, which is amazing. But I will have to spend 100 hours each month doing this with people. And it will be more than that, because I have to go and with each guy say, okay, when you will be available and when I will be available. It will be a nightmare, completely nightmare. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. We'll see. Making the chest look upright and facing forward is very difficult. Oh, you just grab it and move it a little bit and it's fine. Nico, can you ban this dude? I can, of course. And I will probably at some point. We'll see. How are you switching so fast between meshes in sculpt mode? With Alt Q, yeah, people are saying, yeah, but I'm very, very far from the chat. I mean, I'm ages ago that you're writing things. Yeah, 1 hour ago. I'm reading comments from 1 hour ago right now. I mean, I will not be able to read all the comments, I guess, because it will be too much. Have you tried playing Crimson Desert, Nico? You'd like if since you were into Skyrim. I'm sure that I will like it, but that's why I don't want to start it right now, because now I want to concentrate more on thinking how to make my next course about beginners in Blender, making a game character for beginners in Blender 5, and also thinking about other things. Crimson Desert will take too much of my brain space probably, so I don't want to start it. What GPU you have and how many faces are in the scene at the moment? So let's see. At the moment, we have not many. 2,300,000 triangles, which is not too much, and my GPU is pretty good for that. But in order to get a lot of polygons in Blender, you need also a very good RAM. The GPU doesn't matter that much in the viewport. It matters when you start rendering, but in the viewport itself, what matters is mostly RAM and your processor. The shooter was on the roof, which was on the most obvious spots. Exactly, there is something interesting about the assassination of Trump. It's a little bit suspicious, but still, I mean, how you arrange somebody to go there and then they shoot him. I mean, probably they tell him, okay, you will shoot at Trump. You will not kill him. It's very difficult. I mean, if he really shot, and he probably did because some people in the audience were hurt and I think some died. So there is always a possibility for him to kill him, right? Even if he's like staged. So it's, I don't know how you can do that. It's difficult. And also how the things will develop for the guy. They told him, okay, we will give you $100,000. That's a possibility actually. We know you're a good shooter. We will give you $100,000 to shoot at Trump. But you have to just wound him a little bit. It's very difficult to just hurt him on the ear. I mean, this is too close to the head. It's almost impossible. But let's say it's plausible, which is a long shot. We will give you $100,000, but you will die. He will say, okay, I will give this money to my family, and no problem, I will die, it's fine. Maybe that could work, but it's very difficult. It's very difficult. It's too complex to organize for Trump and his circle. Trump and his circle are complete morons. They are super greedy. Yes, they are very greedy. They're very psychopathic, yes, but they're morons. So this type of thing, like this assassination, came very good for him, but I don't think he organized it. Yeah. What do you know about UFO aliens? Nothing, actually, nothing. How old is you? How old is me? Me is 44 years old. We are interested because our future is uncertain. A lot of my friends cannot find work. Exactly. And some people say that every job, not only artist job or IT job, every job is at risk. Not right now, but in the relatively near future, every job will be replaced by AI or robots. So yeah, we're getting into that amazing stuff like Terminator future. Probably a Terminator movie was kind of a... I don't think that's possible, but back in the day when Terminator came, it was not possible. It was absolute fiction. Nowadays, it looks more and more possible. But interesting time we're living in. I mean, we have to think about that. Think about this. We are not important. Nothing is that important. So whatever happened is gonna happen. And we have to deal with it or not. It's fine. I always say this about one of my friends, one of my best friends, and he's a very pragmatic guy. He knows his stuff. He's very logical. He's doing the things that he thinks that are right, and they usually are for him. And they're working. It's working for him. So he said, I asked him, okay, when or if atom bombs starts to fly, and you know that atom bomb will fall in the center of our city, what will you do? Where will you go? In the village or something? Because he has a villa in the village, in one village which is 100 kilometers from the capital. So probably the atom bomb in the capital will not affect him that much. He said, no, I will go exactly in the center of Sofia and just wait for the bomb to fall on me. Because this will be the most painful way, painless way to die. Other than that, when the atom bomb starts to fall, whoever survives the first blasts will suffer for as long as they die. They will suffer. It will be huge radiation. It will be maybe nuclear winter. It will be unsurvivable for a long term. The Earth, most likely. So the best way to approach this is to just go where the bomb will likely fall and just be incinerated in a matter of just a millisecond. You will not feel anything. It will just be the end. And it will not be a suicide because you just go there. Anybody can go whenever they want, right? And you just go there and watch the bomb. Nice. So it's this kind of approach, this kind of thinking will probably make it a little bit less painful, everything that happens in the world right now. But of course you have to have money to eat, at least. That's the thing. If you don't have money to eat, then whatever thinking will not make it work. But I mean, this day and age, I think most people that now have internet and watch this while I'm speaking right now with you, you have internet, you're watching me. You have also a device that you are watching on, whatever it is. So you are lucky. You're not from those people that don't have anything. There are people in some countries that they don't have absolutely nothing. Like, for example, I saw a documentary about people in Bangladesh, I think it was, I'm not sure. But those people in Bangladesh, by the way, is huge. Like, population is like many millions. I'm not sure exactly how much. But there was this industry where women, when they are combing their hair, those hairs that fall off naturally, they're collecting them. And at some point, like in a couple of months, they collect this much, for example, here, and they sell it to some guy who is buying hair every day in the village, and he is bringing it to other people. But those people there, they're working for money which is like $1 a day, $2 a day. Those people will suffer the most from overall crisis. The people who have access to internet, who have devices, who have like stores, and they have some food in the stores, then even the food, imagine that the food in your store now is costing, let's say, $10 a day, for example. 1 year from now, it will cost $20 a day. It will not affect you that much. I mean, yes, you will give all your money for food, and you probably will have to cut some of your more expensive foods. But back in the day, I remember, yeah, I was younger, but I was living off just bread and mayonnaise. Mayonnaise and bread only. So bread and mayonnaise. You can live with mayonnaise and bread for a certain amount of time. So you will not die, at least from hunger. You will be relatively fine. Yeah, you will need some proteins probably. So most likely a little bit of cheese or some eggs you can include in there. Meat, not so much. It's expensive. Fish, super expensive. No fish. But as I said, bread always will be affordable. For example, I told you about Egypt. No, it was not Egypt. It was in Egypt, the government is subsidizing, so it's paying for the fuel to be low. The companies that are selling fuel to Egypt, they're selling it to normal price. But then the government is paying parts of this price, so the fuel for the general public is low price. So the fuel is cheap in Egypt because government is subsidizing it, which is not a very good practice because at some point the government is getting poorer and poorer. And when you have a poor government, then eventually the people will become poorer. Whatever. In Tunisia, I think it was Tunisia, when we were there, the government is subsidizing the bread, the franzella. this French bread. And they are subsidizing that. It's super cheap. It's like one franzella is 30 cents or even less, I'm not sure. And people are buying this and eating mostly that because they don't have too much money. So you can live off that also for a certain amount of time while the crisis kind of is on. The problem is that most likely wars and crises like the COVID and the war, when the war in Ukraine started, it made the oil go up and everything with it. Now the Iran war also is making problems. The wars will likely continue actually. That's what people say. And I tend to believe them. Especially Russia. Russia nowadays cannot live without waging war. The whole economy of Russia is based on war. It's war economy. So yeah, for these years it became war economy. Now Russia is, its only choice is to make war. Only war. War all the time. No peace ever. Unless maybe Putin dies, and he probably will not live forever. But even if he dies, who will go on his place? Who will replace Putin? Somebody who can even be worse than him. That's a possibility, right? So, yeah. There are people who are close to Putin that probably are waiting for him to die to replace him. They are cruel, they are psychopathic, they are like the normal autocratian leader that you expect to see in the world today. Like Orban, like Lukashenko, or I always forget the guy in Belarus, although I'm giving him always as an example of he was Lukashenko, or I forget, Belarusian guy. But doesn't matter. The leader of Belarus right now is an autocratian leader, let's say a dictator, that is for 30 years now, a little bit more than 30 years I think he's ruling Belarus, and he planned to rule it until he dies probably. And maybe he will, because nobody can oppose him. And that's, I mean, that's a problem. I don't know how Belarusian people are thinking about this, but I'm sure that mostly the young people, especially the young people, are not happy with this. Old people, they don't care. They also are happy because since the guy in Belarus, he has access to cheap Russian oil because he's a Russian puppet, many people are happy. They have cheap petrol and gas, super nice. Probably the food is also not super expensive there. Everything is fine. Freedoms of speech, freedom of travel, and who cares about those things? Only the young people. Nobody cares. But I care about that. I probably am from the younger people. And I was living a little bit in the communist regime, in the ends of the communist time. It was not bad, per se, but you cannot travel too much. You cannot go to Thailand if you have money. Even if you have money to go, you cannot. Except if you are from the government, kind of. If you are not a government agent, but a son of a higher level politic or something, yeah, you can probably go whatever. But other than that, no. For ordinary people, not too much choice, not too much freedom. Almost 2 hours right now, or even 2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours exactly. We have to stop now. It's too much. Too much. We can continue this character in the next video, actually. Time flies very fast. I remember you back when you still had hair. Ha! It's impossible, actually. Is this fella this week's challenge? Probably it will be, yeah. I'm a beginner looking to buy my first drawing tablet. It's a inch working area sufficient for something starting out, or should I consider a larger size? No. For 3D, you don't need a large tablet. You can use just a normal A4 tablet. It's fine. A4, I don't know about inches, but probably 6. Let me see my tablet if there is inches about it. Mine is 1 by Wacom medium, I think, or large. Not sure. It's the largest version, but they have only 2 versions, small and large, or small and medium, something like that. It's not large, it's medium most likely. But I don't see the size of it, so I cannot say exactly. But it's A4. A4, when you get a list A4, like this one for example, this is for cat toilet, but whatever. It's relatively that size. The working area of my tablet, which is absolutely enough. Even with a smaller tablet I was working and it's fine. The cat selected you, probably, yeah. Tikva and Lubeniца. No, I mean Dinya. Dinya in most Slavic languages is water. It's a melon, Dinya. In my language, it's watermelon. It's Dinya. So it's a little bit. I think this was the thing. You can do P plus loose parts, I think. Probably, yeah. Please make a realistic rhino. I have made a realistic rhino. I actually sell this rhino in TurboSquid. So I can show you. If you go to TurboSquid, let's go to TurboSquid. TurboSquid. We have to see the result of the AI, by the way. We will see it. TurboSquid. And we go to TurboSquid. If we can. I closed it. Control Shift T. Nice. Okay, let's go there. And we go Rhino. And we will see if I can find my model here. So we see nice models, nice models, nice models. Mine shouldn't be in the first page actually, because it will be difficult. But we have 52 pages of rhinos here. This one is mine. See? Anatomically correct, rigged, rhino. Yeah. It's not the best. Also, the renders that I did are not the best. The texture is fine, but the renders are not the best. The rhino itself is also not the best. You see, this is $85 I sell it for. I sold it a couple of times, but we have superb rhinos here. Very nice. I mean, so good. Especially the first page. Usually people don't go further than the first page, you see. They say rhino. Okay, oh, this is too expensive. Let's go with a price like less than $100. Maybe it will be better. Apply. Okay, 1 to 100. Apply. And again, we have 99 this one, $50 for this one. This one looks cool. There are some interesting dresses here, I don't know. And mine is here also, but we have this one. And this one probably is better than mine. Presentation at least is better. And most likely, yeah, it's rigged also. Rigged things are sold much more than just models. If your model is rigged and ready to use, then it will be better. And this rhino is probably better than mine. It's a little bit more expensive, but it is better. So it will sell better than this one, than mine. For less than $100. If I make mine $40, maybe it will start sell more. But I don't care that much. So yeah, rhino, I did. There is no link to his profile. There is. I see it in the bottom of the chat because it's pinned there. Instagram is pinned to the chat rather than ArtStation. Instagram link to the artist that made this this concept. Cool char. Unfortunately, the creator of the show became a full-time political commentator on YouTube and went insane. Exactly. Heineko, did you have an issue with the brush smooth operation? Shift left model when updating to Blender. The brush smooth. No, I don't have it. No. Hello from Bulgaria. Hello from Bulgaria too. I like your logic about YouTube bans. Yeah. It's better to work along the course or watch the course before, please. Work along the course is better, definitely. Practice is always better than just watching. Realistic or stylized? I like stylized more. Snake anatomy. Can you sculpt a lamia? I think I can. And I've sculpted some dragons, so you can check it out in this course, in this channel, by the way. I was working on the face a while ago in orthographic, and then I went to the perspective and it looked terrible. Yeah, perspective is fine. You don't need orthographic too much for faces, but you have to use a little bit more of a focal length. Please make a realistic rhino. Yes, okay. Повторение мать учения. Exactly. If repetition is the mother of... Who is the father? Ghost, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's like Virgin Mary. There is no father. Who knows? What AI photo reference generator do you recommend? Speechar. I bought some courses from you. For a reference generator, I use Nano Banana, but I don't do reference generation. Usually I find references from Pinterest, for example. Pinterest is a huge place for AI stuff right now. Okay, this is from Tripo. Let's see it. It's not quite bad, I would say. The girl is looking nice. The hair is looking great. Okay, we are doomed. This is looking pretty nice overall. So I think that's it, guys. This was it for the channel. It was a cool channel. We had very good times, but no. You see, this is kind of not very usable because we don't have details at all in this particular case. Maybe with the professional version, when you pay, you will have more details and this will look far better. But now, if you disable the textures, you will see that it's not the best. But we have a relatively good base that we can work from if you are willing to do so. So this, for example, what I would use this for is mainly for reference purposes. So I made this, then I will put it in Blender and I can look at some things like the cape, for example, how it's done here. If I like it, maybe this thing, I will push it a little bit more backwards of the cape. This is absolutely absurd here, how he's holding the gun. His arm is non-existent, there's no fingers. So yeah, here, this is a mess. Of course, the chains are absolutely terrible, but when we put some texture, and it's like, wow, those are replacing us. We character artists are doomed. No, it's not. I mean, it's fine. It's looking like a relatively good reference. It can give you some ideas how to proceed with this character if you don't have any. Let's see the other one. This is from Hunyan, whatever. Wow, this is a mess, complete mess. So, as I said, Trello, or whatever it was called, Tripo is now I think the better generator for 3D models. This one is, wow. You see the face of this girl here? It's superb. Compare this to this one. Even without the texture, this one looks a little bit better. Wow, I cannot... I don't know how to work with this. Up, I think I did. Let's see, okay, no. Oh, yeah. But the Hunyan is terrible. The problem with Tripo is that it's paid and you have kind of some credits, then you have to pay. But again, this hair here is kind of maybe a good start. It's a good reference that you can use. The girl's body here, we can use it as a reference for some shapes. If we want, we can. Overall, yeah. Or you can just take this, put it into Blender, work on it to fix everything for like 10 hours or so, because you have to delete or somehow erase the chains and made them completely again from scratch, erase some other things and made them from scratch, made this face from scratch, made the hands from scratch, made this hand from scratch and the other one also. So a lot of things have to be made from scratch, which means that maybe it's better to just made it by ourselves. I don't know. I think that's what we're getting from this. But yeah, amazing. It will replace us some other day. By the way, I see that those versions of the softwares, those AI stuff, the newest version is making the same things. So I guess they're not developing, they're not improving that much, the 3D AI. It was improving last year. This year, I don't see any improvement at all. For some generic faces, they can make them quite well, but just generic faces. When it's something more difficult, then it's crap. Where is he reading the chat? I'm reading the chat on the side of the window here. Greetings from Portugal. Hello, ZModeler is good, but you can't do bevel on an edge. You can do everything. I knew how to do everything in ZBrush. I don't know now because I haven't used ZBrush for 3 years at least, maybe more. I reached 400 points in Blender. ZBrush million points in Blender. ZBrush crashes after 200 million. Wow. You reach 400 million polys in Blender. That's hard to believe. What do you think about Resident Evil series? I haven't watched them ever. How about AI for Retopo or UV? Anything better? I don't think so right now. Yeah, AI can do some UVs. It can do some Retopo. But if you have a complex character with arms and fingers and everything, I think you're better off making the... even the retopology by yourself. That's the sad truth, because at least for retopology, it should have been useful, but nowadays, no, not yet. Maybe at some point, who knows. Good morning, a hug from Brazil. Hello, Brazil. I have Wacom Intuos. Oh, so you're a rich man, right? Yeah, Intuos is a pretty expensive tablet. Except if you buy it secondhand. Secondhand tablet is the way to go anyway. I mean, I have bought a new tablet once, but all the other tablets that I have bought are... No, 2 times I've bought a new one. First tablet that I bought was new from the store. It was the cheapest Wacom back then. And the second cheap Wacom that I was buying, I contacted the distributor here in Bulgaria, because we were working with them with some... I knew the chief there, and I contacted them, and they gave me a good price for this particular tablet that I'm using right now. Then I bought a couple of those tablets from secondhand for cheaper, kind of new, because usually I always say that people are giving those tablets to other people as a gift. The other people are never using those tablets, and eventually they are selling them in OLX or in Amazon or whatever, or in eBay. They're selling them in the second-hand sites, and you are buying them for cheap. That's the truth. That's the truth forever. My potato laptop is gonna explode, to be honest. I can't even run Mario on it. That's a potato laptop, yeah. I mean, I'm sure that there are laptops and computers that are too old, and they cannot even support Blender for basic things. But yeah, that's the story. You cannot do it. I mean, those machines are usually only for internet, and even sometimes for YouTube, they can make problems, I guess. I know back in the days when we were using a computer in the room when I was a student in the university, the computer was not mine, but we have a computer there from another guy. It was very, very low level computer, and even if we had internet, but even if you want to check your mail, it took ages because the computer itself was not able to show the web page. I mean, it was horrible. It was completely horrible back in the days. Nowadays, I don't suffer from this because my computer is, yeah, it's old right now. I bought my video card 2 years ago, I think, but the other parts are from 5 or 6 years ago, so it's not that new, but it's still very, very good. So, and with the prices of RAM and SSD and video cards right now, it will still be good for like 5 more years at least, I think. Yes, you have to continue with this character next stream. I want to see in a final version with colors like you do. Yeah, I will try. I will try to continue it in the next stream also. Although next stream probably will not be next Monday, because next Monday I will not be available. So probably next Tuesday we will try. We'll see. Alright guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And you will see me next time. We will continue making this character from this concept. And we will see if we will make the other characters. But this character is mainly what I'm interested in. I like it a lot. This character will be a difficult thing to make in YouTube because it is a female character. And when we're making a female body, YouTube is screaming in agony. And then they are doing some problems for us. Maybe we can do this character for only in the Discord stream, so it's possible. So we will see.